Did y'all have any idea that one of the most notorious criminals in history, Pablo Escobar, he had made himself his own little zoo right there in Colombia? Yeah, that's right. He had illegally imported anywhere from kangaroos, zebras, and even hippos. Back in the 1980s, Escobar, he had imported 1 male and 3 females to join his zoo. But upon his death in 1993, after authorities killed Pablo Escobar and seized his luxury estate, his other exotic animals, they were relocated to zoos, but the hippos, they were left because they were difficult to capture and transport. And why would they just leave them? Because it was likely thought that they would die off without care, but instead they thrived. You see, they do not have any natural predators in South America, meaning that they can reproduce more easily, and the weather also helps. In Africa, the population is partly controlled by droughts, which do not take place in Colombia. And because of these factors, studies show that they also started reproducing at earlier ages. In more than 30 years after his death, the 4 OJ hippos that were there, they have grown to be more than 200 hippos, and they're wreaking havoc on the nation's ecosystem. The hippos have spread out from their original home some 100 miles east of the city of Medellin, dispersing around the Magdalena River basin as their population continues to grow steadily. From 2011 to 2019, 4 males were castrated and 2 females were sterilized, but this does not seem to have made an important impact on reproduction. Today, the banks of the Magdalena River, which is the nation's largest river, now serve as a hippo superhighway. Local veterinarians are trying to figure out just how to curb the population. Some ideas were to relocate them, euthanize them, or a very surgical sterilization process, which I'm sure you can assume would be very challenging when dealing with multi-ton creatures. And on top of that, there was a study published back in January where the recommendation was that these hippos be culled to prevent long-term negative effects. But some scientists are calling for a castration program, citing concern over the animals as well as the fact that some locals are attached to them. Meanwhile, the Colombian government has pledged millions to combat the problem as hippos rival native species for resources and pollute the waterways with feces that could alter the water and pose a dangerous change for native inhabitants. And as you can imagine, hippos can pose a very dangerous threat to the security and livelihood of people in the area. They are eating or damaging crops, and they are engaging in very aggressive behavior towards humans. The researchers have cited incidents of hippos chasing people, as well as a hippo attack in May of 2020, in which a 45-year-old man was seriously injured. But I do want to note that there have been no fatalities in Colombia from the hippos. And with all of that said, I am not the one to say the solution to anything is death, but let's hope that they come up with a really good solution to free the area of this growing menace.